What if I told you that you could potentially slow down your brain's aging process with just a few simple tweaks to what you eat? No, we're not talking about some crazy, complete diet overhaul. But a really fascinating new study suggests that one small change to an already famous diet could make a massive difference. Let's dive in.
So let's just start with the big one, right? Can the food on your plate actually truly slow down how your brain ages? It's a question I think a lot of us are asking. And you know what? Some pretty compelling new science is finally starting to give us some answers.
For decades, really, when you think about a brain-healthy diet, there's one name that always pops up. It's been the gold standard. Researchers have pointed to it again and again for all its incredible benefits. I'm talking, of course, about the Mediterranean diet. But here's where it gets really interesting. What if we could take that gold standard and make it even better? That's really the heart of what we're talking about today. New research is hinting that a greener version of this classic diet might just be even more powerful for our brain's future.
So, what does green even mean in this context? It's not like you're overhauling the entire thing. The differences are pretty specific, but as we're about to see, they are potentially very, very impactful. Let's break down exactly what they are.
So here's the side-by-side. The traditional Mediterranean diet is on the left. All that good stuff we know. Fruits, veggies, fish, olive oil. But the green version on the right, it just leans in harder on the plants. It doubles down on plant proteins, and especially these things called polyphenols. Think of them as tiny little bodyguards for your cells that you get from plants, all while dialing way back on red and processed meats.
So where did the people in the study get these extra polyphenol bodyguards? Well, there were three key sources that really defined the green part of this diet: green tea, walnuts, and a really unique aquatic plant called Mankai. You might actually know it as duckweed. Yeah, duckweed. It sounds a little weird, but this tiny green plant is an absolute powerhouse of protein and nutrients.
Okay, this all sounds great in theory. But how do we know it actually works? Well, scientists put it to the test. They set up this amazing clinical trial, basically a 3-diet showdown, to see what would happen.
And get this wasn't some quick 2-week experiment. The researchers in this trial followed the participants for a full 18 months. That's a year and a half. In the world of diet studies, that's a long time, and it gives the results some serious weight.
So here's how they set it up. They took nearly 300 people and split them into 3 groups. Group 1 just followed standard healthy eating advice. Group 2 got the classic calorie-restricted Mediterranean diet. And Group 3? They were the special ones. They were put on the new green Mediterranean diet with all those extra plants and way less red meat.
All right, the experiment is all set. But how in the world do you measure something like brain aging? You might be thinking fancy brain scans, right? Nope. Turns out the answer was hiding in their blood. Let's get into the science of what they found. The researchers zeroed in on 2 specific proteins. Now, you do not need to remember the names, galactin-9 and Decorin. It's not going to be on the test. Just think of them as little biological warning lights. When the levels of these proteins are high, it's a sign of stuff like inflammation and stress in the body, things that are linked to faster brain aging. So the mission was simple: find a way to keep those warning lights dim.
And here it is, the big reveal. This chart shows you exactly what they discovered. The standard diet group, their warning lights were the brightest, the highest levels. The traditional Mediterranean diet group did better. But just look at that bar on the far right, the Green Med diet group. They crushed it. Their levels of these aging proteins were the lowest by a pretty wide margin. This was definitely the whoa moment of the study.
And one of the study's lead authors, Dr. Annette Meir, explains why this is such a huge deal. By looking at these proteins in the blood, it's like getting a sneak peek, a dynamic window into our brain's health. It can show them changes that are happening long before any cognitive symptoms might even start to show up. It's truly preventative insight.
So, okay, this one study is really compelling, but a single study is still just one study. So what's the buzz from other experts in the field? Let's put these findings into a bit of a broader context.
Well, as Dr. Jasdeep Hundal points out, the hard truth is we don't have cures for conditions like Alzheimer's. That's what makes lifestyle factors so incredibly important to research. And diet, he calls it a modifiable risk factor. That's just a scientific way of saying it's something you and I actually have the power to change.
Of course, any good scientist will tell you to be cautiously optimistic. And experts do agree that while this is super promising, the next step is clear. We need bigger, longer studies with more diverse groups of people to really lock in and confirm these findings.
But I gotta say, I absolutely love this takeaway from registered dietitian Monique Richard. It's so simple and powerful. Feed your brain with color and plant compounds. Your future self will thank you. What a great way to think about it. It's not a chore, it's an investment in the you of tomorrow.
Okay, the science is cool, but let's get down to brass tacks. How do we actually apply this to our own lives? Let's talk about a practical green starter kit with some really simple swaps you can make in your own kitchen.
And let's start with this bit of wisdom again from Monique Richard, because it's so important. You don't need to be perfect. This is not about suddenly throwing out everything in your fridge and becoming a whole new person overnight. A few smart green swaps can make a real meaningful difference. No pressure.
And here's just how easy it can be. Look at these ideas. We're not talking about anything crazy. Maybe you swap just one meat dish a week for something with beans or lentils, or you trade a sugary drink for a few cups of green tea. Tossing a handful of walnuts on your salad or as a snack? That's so easy. Every single one of these is a small, totally doable step in the right direction.
So that brings us to our final thought for today, and it's really a question for you. Looking at all this, what's one small green swap you could actually see yourself trying? What's the first thing that pops into your head? It's a great question to think about. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next Explainer.